5:30. Let's go ahead and get this March meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission begun. The first thing I'd like to announce is that we are currently unable to stream on Facebook. So this meeting is being recorded and then will be posted as soon as possible. Okay, so for all you people out there on Facebook who cannot see me telling you this now, sorry. Okay, next up we have the citizens' general discussion. So I'll open the floor for anybody who wishes to have a general discussion of any sort. I'll note that if you are interested in talking about a specific item on the agenda, it makes sense to wait till that agenda comes up. Closing the citizens' general discussion. The next up is the approval of the minutes. Consider approval of February 19, 2025 meeting minutes. Commissioners.
I recommend approval with consideration of altering Paul Ashby out of the minutes.
Second.
All right, all those in favor of approving the minutes with that alteration, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next up, we've got case number RZ 2025-008. Applicant Joel Allen, representing Pecan Landing LLC, is requesting a rezone of property located at 0 Forest Lane, parcel R77510, being 36.765 acres of the A0515 Motley William abstract of the city of Stephenville, Erath County, Texas, from PD Plan Development to R2.5 Integrated Housing. Mr. Killen.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Commissioners. You may recall in 2023, Mr. Allen presented a development plan for this property. I believe at that time there was 166 roughly lots, including some townhome lots for his development on this 36-acre parcel. Mr. Allen's been working towards a civil plan set, and his development plan has evolved quite a bit since that 2023 date. So Mr. Allen is now thinking that straight zoning to R2.5 may enable him to move forward in a little more expeditious manner. The requests that he was making as far as concessions on the PD are no longer really viable for this development, and so he is asking for consideration of a rezone from the planned development to the R2.5. We're asking for the Commission's consideration on that and a recommendation to the City Council. You may have noticed in your packet that if this rezone is recommended for approval, we're also going to act on a consideration and recommendation for the repeal of Ordinance 2023-0-08, which was the enabling ordinance for the plan development. I believe Mr. Allen is with us by Teams meeting tonight. If you have any specific questions for the developer, otherwise, Madam Commissioner, I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you. Commissioners, do you have any questions for Steve?
Did he say how many townhomes or duplexes he's planning to put on the property?
We've seen a very preliminary site plan, but after some discussions with Mr. Allen and his engineer, I believe they're going to make some modifications to that and bring that back. I believe the lot density is actually less than what they had originally proposed from that last illustration that we saw. But again, it was a very preliminary, high-level layout at the time.
So it'd be less than 166 units?
I believe that is correct, yes, sir. Again, Mr. Allen is on a Teams connection if we need to ask him specific questions about his site plan.
Can I ask him directly?
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Allen, how many developments are you looking on the property?
You know, it is moving around a lot, and some of it's contingent upon this rezone, but we're definitely reducing the density. I would say in the ballpark, we're looking at 125 single-family homes. And the original, I believe, was 166 the last time you saw this. But part of this request is allowing us with this straight line zoning to make some of those decisions and field some of the comments from the drainage study that we've done and submitted. It's moved some of the roadways, the lot lines, and this products. You may remember we had some half-acre lots on the north side. We now are going down to just 2 products, single-family homes and townhomes. For that reason, we feel like the straight line R2.5 will meet our needs. And then we may get into this a little bit later, but we do plan to add an additional parcel to this project, and we feel really good about that for the city of Stephenville.
Okay, and about how many square feet for the homes?
You know, it'll range anywhere from, on the very low end, maybe 1,500 square foot, and then, you know, it'll, on the north side particularly, we're hoping to get some larger homes, north of 2,200 square foot. Again, it just kind of depends on some of the drainage constraints that we're fielding, but we're trying to have a good planned development that kind of has a good product mix with square footages in that range.
Mr. Allen, a 1,500 square foot house would fit within R1. What's your reasoning for going to R2.5? Is it about lot lines?
R2.5 will allow us to get in the townhomes, which will allow more of affordable project or affordable product for the citizens of Stephenville.
But so what's the ratio of townhomes to single family?
Again, we don't have that finalized yet, but our plan is to put townhomes on the south end of this development, depending on where the lot line, where the street lines fall. But that is moving around quite a bit, so I'll be happy to update you that when we have that information.
Is there, are you looking to have these houses integrated within the same area, so townhomes mixed with single family? Or like a line of single family and then the townhomes closer to the Glasgow Loop?
Our plan is to have a natural barrier between the townhomes and the single-family homes. That being like a street or right-of-way there, and then the townhomes will connect to our commercial district that we are in the middle of planning right now.
Along the Glasgow?
Yes,
Loop.
ma'am, that's
Okay,
correct.
all right.
That's correct.
And then also on the single-family residence, what is your lot dimensions, square foot wise?
We're looking at anywhere from a 6,000 square foot lot or a 5,000 square foot lot. And there will be several in between that size, depending on corner lots and where the street lines fall.
And are you going to be the prime developer, or are you going to sell these lots?
I will be the prime developer.
Any other questions for
Is
Mr. Allen?
is this somewhere where we're gonna start pushing, like, parking towards the back of the property?
I don't think we have that set yet, Steve.
Not that land use regulation review is actually, we've actually gone out for requests for proposals, and we have those back, and we'll be approaching council with that hopefully very soon, but as far as the rewrite of those land use regulations, we're looking at probably an 18-month project.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Allen? Thank you, sir. I'll go ahead and open a public hearing. Is there anybody here who wishes to speak for or against this rezone request? Sir, if you'd like to speak, please come up to the podium, state your name and address, and you'll have 3 minutes.
My name is Lanny Butler, and I live at 100 Greenbrier, which is right at the intersection there of Forest Lane and Greenbrier. And my question, Joel, is what is your plan for drainage right there at the corner?
Okay, sir, I'm sorry. Because of the dynamics of how this has to run, just go ahead and pose your questions, and once you're done, will go back to.
So
the
that was my
developer.
question.
So it's just a question of the drainage and how that drainage will be handled.
Yes.
Specifically where?
At the corner of Greenbrier and Forest Lane.
Gotcha.
There's a horn there, but it only goes down Forest Lane. It doesn't cross over Forest Lane. And the water backs up right there at where that horn is, at that intersection. It backs up all the way to my house.
Okay.
And if they bring it down there and turn it toward me instead of back toward a lower place, then it'll come right up to my house every time it rains,
Gotcha.
so.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Any other people wish to speak for or against this rezone request? Okay, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Steve, can you address this drainage issue?
Yes, ma'am, Madam Chair. So, just a reminder that when a rezone like this comes through, we may not have the details on a civil plan set that you would normally see through the engineering requirements for a project of this nature. And so Mr. Allen has been working with us for quite a while. He does have a civil plan set that's been out, and that's part of why he's coming back and asking for this change to straight zoning. As he gets into a finalized plan, a site plan, and an additional civil plan modification, that's when city staff and then our outsourced engineering firm will look at those drainage requirements, make sure that there's adequate drainage for the development. And the part that I want to remind everyone of is that Mr. Allen's development cannot contribute to the issue. He's not expected to correct the existing conditions, but he cannot contribute to the existing conditions. So this development has a net zero impact on adjacent properties by design. That's the intent of the development and the development review process. So when he's finished, the engineering aspects behind that project and the civil plan set that's designed by his engineers, they actually submit final documents saying that it's been built to those specifications and that there is no downstream impact on adjacent properties.
Thank you. All right, commissioners, we need a motion.
I'll motion that we recommend to council to approve case number RZ 2025-008 for approval.
Second.
Okay, discussion.
Kind of mixed on this because it really sounds like he's gonna have a lot of R1 potential, and he's gonna convert it over to an R2. And I don't know if that's kind of what needs to happen. I'd feel more comfortable if he go ahead and did his two plats and have the R2.5 on one side and the R1 on the other, instead of deeming the whole property as R2.5. And he's already, I might be wrong here, but as far as his planned development, he's already out of compliance on it since he had to give it a review, right? In the last year.
Help me with that question again, please.
On his planned development for this property, he's already out of compliance, so isn't he, since he hadn't really given an update?
I don't recall when his last update was.
That's
So
what I'm trying to figure out,
I should
too.
know that, but I don't know it off the top of my head, so I
Right.
apologize for that. So,
But I would feel more comfortable him coming at this with two parcels. One is an R2.5 and leaving the other as an R1.
Yeah, I'm struggling with the same thing. I like what he's saying, it sounds good, but if he were to sell the property after we rezoned it to 2.5, we have no, they could just fill that with townhomes. His plan sounds good, I just kind of want it locked in more. And if we did that with an R1 and an R2.5, it would do that. On the other hand, if we look at our comprehensive plan, which our new comprehensive plan, it's certainly moving toward, much more mixed
Mm-hmm.
use. And this would fit within that, I think. But,
But there's no guarantee of the R1 dimensions
Right.
remaining after that.
right. Okay, other discussions? All right, let's go ahead and vote. We're gonna do this as a roll call. Tyler,
Yes.
Justin,
Yes.
I'm gonna be a no.
I'm a no.
Yes.
And that is, James is a yes, so that is 2/3, so that goes forward to council with a positive recommendation to rezone for integrated housing. All right, next up, case number R02-025-009, applicant Joel Allen, representing Pecan Landing LLC, is requesting a rezone of property located at 0 Forest Lane, parcel R78517, being 7.35 acres of the A0515 Motley William abstract of the city of Stephenville, Erath County, Texas, from R1, single family, to R2.5, integrated housing. Mr. Killen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So this is a companion property to what we previously discussed. He is asking for a rezone to straight zoning R2.5 from single family, as you mentioned. He had at one point considered adding this into his plan development, but again, as the research and civil plan set development evolved, he realized that he was wanting to ask for straight zoning and abandon the PD. So again, this is 7.35 acres directly adjacent but across Forest Street, and he was asking for a rezone to R2.5. And as you're familiar, and just to make sure that everyone out there knows, the R2.5, it does deviate from the R1 75 by 100 by allowing a smaller lot dimension of 50 by 60. And when you are in this business and you talk with developers right now, the larger lots are much more difficult to be, to establish a profit on. The greater the density and the number of builds, of course, allows them to be profitable in the larger lots. And lower density make it challenging for them to be able to put together a development such as this for housing through the community. With that, Madam Chair, glad to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for Steve? All right. I'll go ahead and open a public hearing. Is there anybody here who wishes to speak in favor or against this rezone request? Sorry, got to come up and do the whole rigmarole again. My apologies.
Well, my apologies for not being able to see a little better, but I can't really tell where the property is from back here, so could you point that out on the map?
Right here, sir.
Okay, it's on the other side of the street.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. All right, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Commissioners, we need a motion.
I'll make a motion to recommend approval to council for RZ 2025-009.
Second.
Okay. Discussion?
Same as before.
Okay. All those in favor of recommending to council approval of this rezone request, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Nay.
You're going to be a nay, okay. Okay, so that moves on to city council. Next up, case number PD 2024-018, applicant Joel Allen, representing Pecan Landing LLC, is requesting the repeal of ordinance 2023-0-08, relating to the approval of the planned development for 0 Forest Lane, parcel R77510, being 36.765 acres of the A0515 Motley William abstract of the city of Stephenville, Erath County, Texas. Mr. Killen.
Madam Chair, this is basically circling back to that 36-acre parcel. The plan development was put in place and adopted by ordinance in 2023. If he moves forward with the R2.5 development, then and the R2.5 rezone as you're recommending approval for, it necessitates the repeal of this ordinance. With that, I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for Steve?
Do we make it as just a motion, or does it go before council?
Recommendation, council.
Okay.
Any questions? All right, open a public hearing. Anybody here wish to speak for or against this rezone request? Closing the public hearing. Commissioners?
I recommend to council that we repeal ordinance 2023-008.
I'm sorry, sir, we gotta, we've closed the public hearing, so we've got it, but give it a pause, and we'll come back around. All those in favor of recommending to council repeal of the planned development, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Let us finish, and then we'll come back around. Thank you. Case number RZ 2025-010, applicant Keith Dowell is requesting rezone of property located at 975 North McCart, parcel R28762, being block 2, lot 5 of the S2300 Butler edition of the city of Stephenville, Erath County, Texas, from R1 single family to R2.5 integrated housing. Mr. Killen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Dowell is with us not on a Teams link. If you have any specific questions for him, he and I have visited about this. This lot has an existing single-family home on the lot that he is wishing to keep, but he's wanting to use the remainder of the property for a development of a fourplex, and that is the impetus behind the request for the rezone to R2.5. The R2.5 would allow him to replat this property, keeping the single-family home at a minimum lot dimension of 50 by 60. He can still meet the 40-foot lot frontage requirement along, whatever street this is, McCart. You've got 40 foot of frontage for McCart with the remainder portion of the property, creating somewhat of a flag-shaped property and enough space by the R2.5 requirements to allow for a 2 to 4 family unit structure. In the packet, he does have a rendering of the type of structure that he's looking to build and just an overall survey of the property as it currently lies. You can see there that we, doing the math on it, can meet the 40-foot requirement of frontage along McCart Street. With that, Madam Chair, be glad to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Steve? All right, I'll go ahead and open a public hearing. Is there anybody here who wishes to speak for or against this rezone request? I'll close the public hearing. Commissioners?
I recommend to council approval of RZ 2025-010.
Second.
Discussion?
I think this is a good use of this property, and what R2.5 was originally designed for was dimensions of these sizes, and it does fit the new comprehensive plan to be able to use larger lots in smaller areas like this.
I agree. All right, all those in favor of recommending to council approval of this rezone request, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Thank you.